Hello and welcome to Bussy's podcast. Please remember to subscribe to my channel and follow my Instagram and Facebook pages to find out who my next guest will be and when my next podcast goes live. Thank you. Hello and welcome to Bussy's podcast. Today I'm with footballer James Hugo. Alright mate, how you going?
Yeah, I'm alright, you?
Yeah, I'm good. Obviously today we'll be talking about your football career, how it's gone, how it's going, where you want it to go.
Yeah.
So as always mate, start from the beginning.
Yeah, so started playing football when I was probably about 4 years old. Started just at a local Sunday league team that my dad managed.
Sunday league at 4?
No, sorry. No, but I started playing when I was 4.
Yeah.
And then...
Right, so we got the giggles a bit then, so we started again. But obviously you was playing Sunday league and then you had a couple of trial offers when you was at, under 8s?
Yeah, so Northampton offered a trial for me, which I ended up refusing. I was too young at the time to travel that far for training and games. Then at under 8s, Lincoln City offered me a trial, which I took because obviously playing in Lincoln at the time, it wasn't far for me to go. So took the trial there and managed to get in, and ended up being at Lincoln City for 10 years, from under 8s till under 18s. That involved a 2-year scholarship that was under 16s till under 18s, so first and second year scholarship. Then unfortunately didn't get a pro contract at the end of that, and now I'm playing for Spalding United in the Northern Premier League, Division 1.
Right, so then talk me through your youth career.
So obviously went to Lincoln when I was 8, and made a good impression, and throughout most of my academy years there, so from under 8s through till under 16s, I tend to play up a year. So when I was under 11s, I'd be playing for the under 12s. When I was under 12s, I'd play for the under 13s, and that was really good for me.
Did it feel comfortable?
Yeah, definitely. It was really beneficial for when I then grew up, and because in the youth team you're playing with players older than you anyway, especially when you're a first year, and then obviously that step up to the pros again is massive. So
it's even competitive within your own club, as shown in a tradition, would you say?
Yeah. So this was mainly in the youth team because we obviously had our own changing room. If two players kind of had a bit of a fallout, a bit of beef, then everyone would be, get the gloves on, whatever. And if you both agreed to it, then the gloves would come out, boxing gloves obviously, and you just fight.
Yeah. You've got a good one though, haven't you?
Yeah.
That video now.
Yeah.
So
Hugo! Let's go. Oh, hello.
Talk me through that.
I only had one fight. I'm not a big fighter.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was actually meant to be me and a lad called Richie at the time.
Yeah.
But we were just too close mates to actually punch each other. Yeah. And then another lad says, I'll come in and do it, and he stepped up to me and I dodged the first punch and then just smacked him one.
Brilliant.
It's funny, yeah.
Obviously you mentioned Richie there. You've had a couple of youth players live with you at your house as well, haven't you? Which is
so in my first year, Richie lived with me for a year, and he played against Leicester too, and bring that goal back in that I scored against Leicester. We actually went down to the field near my house the night before, practice free kicks, shots, whatever, and the next day we beat Leicester 2-0, and we both scored pretty much exact goals that we'd been trying the night before. So it was kind of weird, and it almost shows that practice makes perfect.
Yeah. Did you realise that at the time once you did it? Did you think, I did that yesterday, how long did it take to realise before you knew?
It was both in the first half. He scored within kind of a minute, and I scored just after the 20-minute mark in the first half. And we came in at half time. We were practicing that last night.
Yeah.
How has that happened?
Yeah, it's crazy that.
Yeah.
Going back to your Lincoln, your still achieved quite a bit despite
Yes.
not getting the pro contract. You've scored some decent goals, played against decent players, decent teams.
Yeah.
Obviously, tell us some of the likes that you've played against and some of the games you've been involved in.
Yeah. So of the most memorable games were in my scholarship, played against Leicester and against Man United, where Mason Greenwood and Brandon Williams were playing in that game, who are obviously involved in the first team at Manchester United now. Managed to score a goal against Leicester. We won that one 2-0.
Got a video of that.
Got a video of that.
To show that now.
Yeah. And we lost to Man United 2-0, which actually was a good result for us at the time because they were Man United, we were Lincoln City. We weren't expected to win that, obviously.
Does it feel good, even though obviously you get beat and it's never good getting beat?
Yeah.
Did you still get a buzz out of knowing you was on the field with those types of players?
Yeah, well, obviously now, I watched the Man United game where Mason Greenwood made his debut, and I'm thinking, I know him, I've played against him.
Yeah.
So it is really weird. And yeah, at the time, losing 2-0, it was only a friendly, so it wasn't a massive deal. And we were buzzing because we'd just played against Man United as a Lincoln City youth team.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So obviously from there, you wanted to be at Lincoln, but it didn't quite go to plan in terms of pro contract.
So I thought I'd done enough to get a pro contract. I was training with the first team, made a couple of appearances, only in friendlies against Scunthorpe, against Lincoln United, and played really well. But yeah, unfortunately, it didn't come off for me, and I managed to deal with it pretty well.
Yeah, good, because obviously there's like that lad at Man City, he's only 18, didn't get his pro contract, ended up committing suicide.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not easy to deal with, and there should probably be more support in place for when you don't get your contract.
Yeah.
Obviously you was lucky enough to already had an offer. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So in my first year scholarship, so that technically is under 17s, but in the youth team, first year scholarship, I went on loan at Rossington Main, which is a team towards Doncaster, and it was a massive kind of reality check for me on how men's football differs to youth team football and the physical attributes you need. I went there for a couple of weeks, and then in my second year scholarship I went to Spalding United, which is where I'm at now, and had a really good half season there. And then when I didn't get my pro contract, Spalding straight away offered me a contract there, which I was buzzing with. Obviously, coming from having a pretty low point from not getting a pro contract to then getting offered a contract at the club that I'd been at for the last 6 months was really good. So I'd obviously made a good impression to the manager there.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And had a little bit of involvement with Sheffield United possibility, or?
So that was under 16s going into the youth team. So I went on trial at Sheffield United towards the end of under 16s, and it was the trial was to get a scholarship there. It wasn't just to be in the academy, it was to actually get a scholarship there. And I went there, only played 2 games, which went okay, and trained really well. Obviously being under 16 at the time, going for the youth team, I was training with the youth team, so I was younger than them, so it was difficult. I was playing with some good players, some at that age English internationals, Irish internationals. They were really good players, and I'd already signed a contract at Lincoln at the time, so having that contract, I couldn't then just leave to go to Sheffield United. So if Sheffield United wanted me, which I believe they did, Sheffield United would have had to have paid Lincoln to get me out of the contract.
Yeah.
And Sheffield United aren't going to pay for a 16-year-old lad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it was a difficult one, but I ended up doing a good scholarship at Lincoln, and yeah.
And obviously you was there while the Cowley brothers were there.
Yeah.
Who obviously managed in the Championship with Huddersfield.
Yes.
Mount Portsmouth.
Yeah,
Obviously
yeah.
He was there at Lincoln with them.
Yeah. So Cowleys came in about halfway through my apprenticeship there in my scholarship, and obviously did really, really well at Lincoln. Got them promotion, took them a long way in the FA Cup, and it was really good to see as a youth team player with all the money coming in at the time into the club. We were seeing big changes being made.
Yeah.
Obviously, they were the ones that didn't give me the pro contract there, which was difficult to take.
Yeah.
But yeah, as I say, really good managers. But that's all I've got to say about them, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they've done well for themselves. Because obviously you can see they've done well for themselves. I've sort of heard things that they're not the best people, but then they are good managers. So is that ever a problem for you, or not really?
As a manager, you've got to be harsh on your players.
Yeah,
you want them to play well week in, week out. Which it's a good trait to have as a manager, and some players aren't gonna like that because it can add up to having a lot of pressure on you. But then I find that I play better under pressure. But again, obviously just didn't do quite enough to get that pro contract at the end of the day.
How much do you like the pressure though? Because when I've come and seen you and your dad's constantly at your side, in your ear, is that something you like or not?
I would much prefer to have my dad or people watching me than not having anyone watching me.
Yeah.
Purely because they're there for encouragement, aren't they?
Yeah,
as much as my dad will be my biggest critic, he's also my biggest fan.
Yeah, definitely.
So it works both ways, really.
Yeah, because obviously you played under him when you very first started football.
Yes.
He was your manager, and obviously he's always going to watch you, but he's got more of an influence because he started you off managing you.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously he coached me from when I very first kicked football through until I got into Lincoln's academy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So obviously moving forward from Lincoln, you went to Spalding.
Yes. Yeah.
And
so
you had dues at Frickley as well.
So I went to Spalding. I was there for the 6 month loan, and then got a contract. Did 2 years there after that, and that was a really good 2 years there. Played really well. Went to Frickley, and again did well there. But then Spalding came back in for me, and I don't want to say offered more money because it's. Do you know what I mean?
You just said it now.
I know. But yeah, Spalding came back in for me, and I've gone back there playing under now Gabriel Zakuani, who is the ex-captain of Peterborough United. Obviously knows what he's doing, and I just feel for me he was a defender. So for me that's really going to benefit me moving forward now.
Yeah, because I've seen it in other sports as well. If you know that somebody's been there and done it, you feel a lot better towards it. Obviously managers have got experience, everyone, people in those positions should have experience, but it's better for you, like you say, to be able to realise he was a defender, I'm a defender.
It will just benefit me massively, I think.
So then obviously moving forward from there, where do you think you'll be? Where would you like to be?
As high as I can, if I'm honest.
So where would you like to play?
Obviously I'd love to be a pro one day. At the minute being semi-pro, but it's the dream being a pro. And fingers crossed that's where I'll end up. But it's a big ask, and I've got to keep working hard to get to that place. Yeah,
definitely. Is it easy for you to work at the same time as playing football? Because obviously football's not a primary thing as such now. Obviously it's your biggest love, but you've got to work alongside your football, aren't you? Like you've been at Argos and you're doing a bit of teaching now as well, which is brilliant. So
I'm currently at university in Sheffield, studying PE and school sport, which is really good. and I'm on placement right now at my old school, so I know the teachers I'm working with. And then alongside that, just doing a bit of delivery driving at Argos, and that earns me more money.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How's the kids at the school?
Yeah,
Mr. Hugo.
Mr. Hugo, sir. Yeah, they're good. They're a good laugh. They are a good bunch of kids, actually.
You teach all year groups?
Yeah, so year 7 through... I haven't done a year 13 class yet, but I've done year 7 through to year 12. But the A-level sessions, I'd kind of just sit and watch, because I'm not going to teach that yet.
Yeah.
You
say it was funny with walking round, and some of the kids, and you're a big lad as well, and some of the kids are bigger than you.
Yeah, you've got a year 7 lad, 12 years old, and he's 6'6".
Yeah.
And I'm teaching him looking up to teach him.
Yeah.
It's crazy, really.
Give him all, I'll give you with attention. Sit down and I'm taller than you.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, well anyway, mate, thanks for coming on. I think we're
thank you very much
there,
for
so
me.
massively appreciate it, mate, and good luck in the future.
Cheers.
Thank you so much for watching. For more videos like this, please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, and to find out who my future guests will be, please follow my Instagram and my Facebook pages.